So here's some hints and tips on how to apply for an IC Tomorrow contest. The application form, you can fill it in as you go along. You don't have to hit submit immediately, so you've got time. The deadline is noon, not midnight, but don't leave it right up until that time, because if you are slightly after the deadline, we won't be able to consider your application. And do answer the questions very specifically. Don't just repeat the same information across the different questions. So we do ask you to submit a 2-minute video, which should give an overall summary of your application, but don't just repeat the text that you've written in your proposal. This should give us a little bit of extra information about the proposal as a whole. If you want to make that video private, you can. Just make sure that you do include the login details. So there are 3 separate stages to this process, and we ask you separate questions about each of these stages. Firstly, there's what are you actually going to build, what are you going to develop as part of the process. Then there's the actual trial period with the challenge partner, and finally there's what are you going to do to commercialize this application or service more widely after the trial. So firstly, what are you going to build, how are you going to develop your application or service? Do bear in mind again how you're going to work with the challenge partner over this period. What we really want to see is where is the money going to be spent, what's new that we're going to see that is going to be built. We don't want to see money just spent on salaries and marketing. We need to see that there's new technology, new development taking place, and how that interfaces with your existing application or service if you have one, or it might just be that you're building something entirely from scratch. Then there's the trial period. Now the trial period can really vary. It may be something very short that is merely about testing that with the challenge partner. It may be that it is taking a few months and you might go out to the consumers or for some beta testing to test something out. You might not know exactly in advance exactly what the trial will look like, but just try and give us an idea of what you might want to achieve, what you might want to get out of that trial period, because ultimately that's what we're also putting the money towards, is to get you to the point where you're able to test out, to try out your new application or service together with the challenge partner. And then finally, the third stage, that's when the project is done, but we want to see how would you intend to commercialize your application or service more widely, because ultimately that's what this is leading towards, growing the UK digital economy by helping to fund new applications and services.